Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this Tuesday night episode of Intuitive Healing with May Levy. You can find her work at deepintuitivehealing.com. May, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing really good. How are you, JC? It's good to be here.
I'm doing well. There's a lot of weird things happening on YouTube as on the last couple of weeks. I've been rolling with the punches, but I'm doing well. Thank you, May. May, I gotta tell you, I've been getting all of these crazy emails since your last activation on the show. So we had done a show with you and Janine a couple of weeks ago, just before all the craziness happened, of course, and or at the same time as all this craziness was happening. And everybody had an amazing time with your last activation, but they were also getting I guess detox symptoms is the best way to describe it. So let's get into that before we get into all the other stuff here tonight. I also want to welcome all of you guys watching us here tonight on this live show. We're going to have a couple of topics for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about, yes, the last activation. We're going to talk about the sacred no, what it means to say no, when to say no. And of course, we're going to talk about doing an activation right now live for you guys on this show here tonight too, for all of the departing souls. We just did a show on Monday night. We talked about many of us in the live stream audience now having to deal with souls that are departing our lives here. So we're going to be doing a special activation for you guys on that one, help you navigate those energies. And we're going to talk about a very special activation also that is coming up on Friday night. And if we have time, and I'm sure we will, we'll take your questions also throughout the show. So May, let's start there. Last time you were on, we did this activation for releasing judgment, anger, and fear. Explain a little bit why we're doing that. We can get into the scale also, and then let's talk about those detox symptoms that people were feeling.
Oh my. So if you can bring the vibrational scale, we'll just show everybody what our vibration looks like from the lower vibration to the higher vibration. And we have all these lower vibrations, in our emotional vibrational chart. And so what I've been doing in these activations for health and vitality has been focusing on removing these lower vibrational energies and emotions out of our organs, 78 organs, from the cells, from the body, from our energy field. Yeah, and when we release something through these light codes, through these activations, they do have to release and go somewhere. And so a lot of the work, I'm clearing it, and also the organs are clearing it, and the body has to catch up. And so there are detox symptoms. I just got a dose of my own medicine. I was in bed for a week after that the last activation. I felt so good right after it. And then the next day, flu symptoms. I felt so sad. I felt all these emotions come up, and I just rested. I allowed my body to rest. And I knew that the flu symptoms were from the activation because I got maybe 10 emails from other people that have experienced the same flu symptoms. And some people told me that they were throwing up. Some people were crying for a week. Some people were really feeling their body releasing things. So I want to congratulate all the light warriors and the people that are really stepping into the fire to clear these emotions and the lower dense energies out of the body, because A, you have to show up for it. Two, right, you actually have to go through it and then feel it in order to clear it. And it's heroic, really, because we're always trying to run away from these feelings. We're not really, most humanity is going to drink and going to the pub and finding a date and like doing everything they can to distract themselves from these emotions. Mm-hmm. And each and every one who is actually signing up for these activations is stepping into the fire and melting karma and melting all of these lower vibrations that don't serve them anymore.
Right. It's beautiful. And what you were saying was interesting also, because as we were doing the Astro Woo Finance 2 months ago, in some of these alignments, Julie was suggesting here that people, because all of this is being brought to the surface as we're moving into this age of Aquarius, where we're being hit by all of these energies, people have two reactions: either to do what the May Levies of the world are doing, which is actually working the problem and getting to the solution. But for a lot of other people, because of the way they've been programmed and perhaps their circumstance in their life, they're getting closer or deeper into what are those called? Addictions, in order to try to avoid doing exactly right. So let's talk about that. When you did this activation, do you mention that a little bit? Like what are the pitfalls here for people who are dealing with the ascension symptoms, who are trying to, as you say, feel these emotions, feel these energies, to actually go through the work of releasing them. What are some of those pitfalls that you can share with the audience here tonight on how to deal with that as you're maybe dipping your toe for the first time and actually doing this kind of work?
So when I started, first I'll talk about the first activation out of the 5 sequels is to remove limiting beliefs about our health and what we believe about our body and our health and how fast we can heal. So that was the first one. So we can have less symptoms of these detox symptoms, right? The way that we can deal with our emotions, and this is something that I was guiding everybody to do, is really feel it. That's the way. You got to feel it in order to clear it. So I was welcoming people if something does come up, if they do feel like they need to cry, if they do feel something in their body, or like any emotion, anger, rejection, resentment, all the things that we've been working on. So really, if you're feeling something come up, you sit, you don't distract yourself, you sit by yourself and you locate where you feel it in your body. And then you can put your hand on your heart or on your sacral or on your face, wherever it is that you feel it. And you breathe into that space and you allow the feeling of that lower vibration to come up and not be afraid of it. You're going to become friends with it. You're just going to be okay. What if that feeling is medicine? Get curious. What if me feeling this lower vibration energy is the medicine to actually free me from it? And as I'm explaining this, I'm getting goosebumps. Spirit is like, yes, you have to feel it, not run away from it like we used to, right? A lot of us haven't done healing work. We numbed it in all kinds of ways. So actually sitting intentionally with complete awareness that you're actually going to feel it and just giving it love like an inner child, right? Like the child that didn't get a hug from the mother and the father. All it wants is attention. And so when you give it that hug and you give that attention, you breathe through it, you allow it to travel through your breath. Working with the breath is very important. And another thing that I recommend is nature. Going, clearing yourself in a body of water, if it's the ocean, if it's a lake, if it's a pond, even if you're going barefoot, to walk on the earth and just let the earth take on the energy. And also you can do a spirit bath. I gave a recipe to everybody who was on the activation. Pretty much it's a spirit bath. I can also put it on the comments below with Epsom salt and baking soda and Florida water, all kinds of herbs inside of it. And it also absorbs all this negative energy out of the body. And it really does feel like, 100 years, just freed you from 100 years of all that density after those baths. Those baths are really important. And also salt water. If you have an ocean around you, go to the ocean. She'll just take it from you.
Big time, big time. Smiling eyes, awesome. What messages? May solutions are so needed these days. I love it. Somebody was asking, hold on a second. You just spoke about the mother and the father, and somebody said, Ricky Smith, May Levy has a beautiful glow, almost like a pregnant woman would have. Are you pregnant by any chance, May?
I am not. Okay. I have been eating. Ground my energy. I've been doing a lot of energy work, and oh my God, I am not pregnant. Maybe I am in by spirit. I don't know. I did get chubby though.
Well, there you go. You are a resounding poster child for your products. You're full of energy, and you are in fact glowing. Hold on. Bring your volume down on your speaker just a little bit, May. We're getting a little bit of an echo on your end. There you go. Okay. Before we go further, Joanne, question. Can you do the 5th activation if you've only done the first one?
Yes, you can, because it'll work. If the detox symptoms are going to be a little more intense, maybe. I do recommend to do number 1 to make the work deeper, plus more effective, because we have a subconscious that's full of beliefs that are preventing us from our own healing, that are preventing us from our own expansion, that have been given to us through past lives, through generations, from our family, from history. So I think I really recommend to do Health and Vitality Part 1 to make space in your subconscious. So the work that we're doing is going to work deeper and more effective because the belief system is going to be different, if that makes sense.
Right. It makes a lot of sense.
And you can do it without Part 1 if you want. It's still going to work. It's just going to work better with part 1.
So guys, if you go to deepintuitivehealing.com, if you look at the top banner here, you'll see activations. You'll see the part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4 that's coming up. Wait, is that the one or part 5?
Yeah,
yes, part 4. Right. So let's go through these one more time here for the people who might be watching this for the first time. Like, hey, wait, I'd be interested in that. Where do I start? So part 1, you've just described. What was part 2? Okay.
Go in there. I think it's the resentment, regret, and rejection. That's really important. Because when you start clearing resentments for people in your life that you hold grudges for, any regrets or rejection throughout life, you're going to start, we're losing like energy density. Forgiveness is so important, right? So we can actually go into the more deeper levels of grief and shame and all the other things that we've been working on. But resentment, regret, rejection, I also added revenge to that in the activation, is extremely important for this work.
Okay, very good. And what's the next one after that? Let me see.
And we did
number 3. That was the last one we did here on the show. Judgment, anger, and fear.
This one got me real deep. Maybe I'm chubby right now because I'm detoxing. Judgment, anger, and fear. I had a lot of judgment surrounding me in my self-judgment and judgment in my life as I was growing up. And I think that's where I had it really intense this time. Because I'm facilitating, but spirit is working through me. And, I'm receiving the same healing like everybody else.
I don't think you need any self-judgment. Open-minded crypto says she's definitely a hot pregnant woman.
Oh so my God. JC.
Am I making you blush, May?
I hope it's a pregnancy with the new idea or something, a new artwork.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Oh my God. All right. We'll get into the 4th one here a little bit later on the show. Before we do that, did you want to talk about a little bit the detoxing symptoms that you had, how you're dealing with them, how perhaps some of the audience members here who are also going to go through that here, if they go back into these past episodes, how they should also deal with that?
I was resting a lot. In my experience, my body just wanted to do nothing, and I allowed my body to do nothing. And I'm lucky that I canceled work. I did have work and I did move things around. Drinking lots of water, like drinking a lot of water, sitting in meditation. I was also doing belief work on myself through Theta. I was doing some more deeper work on myself and resting, really reading a book, meditating, sitting with the emotions that come up, going into a bathtub, doing a spirit bath, and really just listening to what my body wants. If somebody just invited me to go to a party or a potluck, and I'm like, no, actually, what's important to me right now is doing nothing, because I'm integrating. When we're doing this work, I must say that our whole Merkaba, our whole dimensional energetic body is all being recalibrated. So it's tiring. It takes energy for all of that energy to reshift. And the body is so dense and heavy, and the energy and the light codes are so fast. And it takes integration for the body to catch up with all of it. So yeah, I did actually. So the chubbiness even maybe could be a good example of my body is shifting, and it's taking time for this energy to ground into the body. You're not chubby, you're glowing. Okay. This is going to be a theme.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat there, mate. Okay, very good. Rational Mind. Wait, can I bring that back up? Rational Mind Riot. I'm working on healing from serious long-term abuse, and really appreciate this. Thank you, Jesus. I'm having trouble reading tonight. It's the energies. I don't know if I'm more dyslexic tonight or anything else. It's been a weird couple of days. But thank you, Rational Mind. And yeah, a lot of us are. And so for many reasons, whether that's in their personal lives right now, there are a lot of changes. We're being called to deal with some old trauma, some old karmic wounds also as we move into these new energies. And on top of that, there's, this whole world situation happening in the last 2 years, and it's putting a dent in a lot of us. Now, in some cases, we're dealing with the fear, with the trauma that comes from all of the fear that was pushed out in the mainstream news. And in some other cases, we're also dealing now with departing souls. don't want to get into too much of the politics there, but you guys understand what we're dealing with here. So we are tonight going to do an activation for that in a little bit. But before we get that, I think right now, one of the things that we all need to do is be better at setting our own boundaries. So this is when we get into this conversation of the sacred no. May Levy, bring us up to speed on here, how you deal with that and how you teach that to your audience.
So in my journey, I've learned so much that no is actually more important than yes, because the universe doesn't understand what no means or what yes means. Just there's energy in general. And when you agree to something, you're allowing that energy to come into your field when you're agreeing to something. So even if something feels good, but it's not 100% in alignment, you don't feel like a fuck yes, and you're agreeing to something that's a half yes, those half yeses are going to start showing up all the time. Oh, you want a half yes? We're just going to give you more of the half yes. You want more of this? Here's a half yes for you. But when you start practicing no, I don't want to go out to that. No, actually, that relationship, what you're offering to me doesn't feel in alignment with me. No, thank you. If a family member is trying to put guilt on you for something that you didn't do, no, thank you. That doesn't serve me. I love you, but you don't have to agree to it. And then when you start practicing your no's, you'll get little tests from the universe. Are you sure it's a no? Are you sure it's a no? And then it'll still present it for you. And the more you continue that no, it'll be like, oh, you're saying no to this. Let's give you something different. You're saying yes to this now. And the more no's, you'll probably have more no's than yeses. But the more no's and you refine what a yes is to you, that is a complete signal to what you're calling in. Like what you're calling in, what your true highest vibrational energy body and physical body wants. Say yes to that. And practice it, because sometimes it's really hard to say no to something that feels good, but you know is wrong for you. So especially when we're doing this healing work and we're starting to release all these lower vibrational energies and we're clearing our body, then it's really important to keep that sacred. Like I haven't been going out. I haven't been seeing people for the past month, ever since I've been doing this like healing work. I don't have any tan on my body and it's really hot outside and all my friends are having fun. And I've been saying no constantly because I'm going through a lot of emotional clearing and that needs to be protected. So JC, you were talking about the global thing, right? Everything that's happening. Say no to that. Take a break. It's not going anywhere. It's still there. You can always revisit it. If you need to take a break, say no to it for a little while. See how you feel when you're not so much in it, because that also feeds our cells and our body like information. So just for a little while you're doing this really potent work, your no's are so sacred, and I can't recommend it enough how important that is.
Well, if we go back to this vibrational chart too, this fear frequency that's been pushed out, look, it's so low on the vibrational scale, yet we've been eating that for the last 2 years, whether we believe in all of it or not, but we're still bombarded with all of these news articles. We're bombarded by our friends who are talking about this stuff, reposting on Twitter and all that stuff. So there's a lot there. Now, when it comes to guilt, shame, this last activation I thought was very important because we're getting into teaching people how to create abundance for themselves. And I wanted to bring up a comment here, which is a really good comment, by the way. Amethyst says, hey, wait, I want my life to align. I want financial stability, but I don't have time for more healing. May, let's talk about how one actually leads to another here.
You know, I am in the shoes of a healer and I'm still healing. So you make time for good shit. I don't know what else to say. It's tiring to do healing work, but the more you start clearing, the more abundance comes in. You'll make more space. So it's not necessarily you're not going to manifest, because amazing things are happening in my life. However, there's still more stuff to clear. So it starts to balance out, right? It's like a scale. So the more you haven't done energy work at all, healing work at all, you're going to start from the bottom. But then you're slowly going to start clearing it. And then the light, there's more space for light. Doesn't mean you finished your healing work, but things are going to start balancing better, and you're going to start being more aware and have the tools to work with your healing better. So we all want to get to the top of the top, but there has to be also work. And
well, from the Taoist perspective also, they'll say, listen, we can teach you right now how to manifest your reality, right? It comes from your chi, your orgone, your prana, your kundalini, whatever denominational study you want to put in there. But at the end of the day, they'll teach you that we can teach you how to manifest, but if you're manifesting with tainted energy, then your manifestations will be tainted. So this again goes to that healing part. So removing that shame, that guilt, all of those negative energies that are or that are tainting your energy flow, is not productive for you to create that alignment and that abundance that you want. So yes, you're like, oh, I want this now, but at the same time, you still have to do the work there. It's like building a house, right? You have to clear the field first, right? Then you build those solid foundations, and then you go up, and eventually you have all the really fancy, shiny things on the wall inside the house. But there's a lot of work to be done. May, for tonight too, we're seeing this more and more now. Everybody I talk to, they're seeing more ambulance going by their homes. They're seeing more like the mortuaries are busier and busier. So we're all dealing with this at some level or another. My friend Julie, who's on the show, she lost her dad this weekend here too. We did a little bit of a reading for her on Monday night. And we talked about the fact that a lot of our audience members are dealing with now these souls that are departing right now. And we're going to be continuing to deal with that here for quite some time before we go through that big hump here. So first, how do you want to set up the activation for the audience members here tonight? How do we want to word that so that they can also take part in the meditation with us, the activation with us, use that for themselves if they're dealing with that, but also maybe use that energy to perhaps deal with their friends or families who are also now dealing with the departed souls? How do you want to set that up, May?
Well, I wrote a prayer knowing that we're doing this sort of activation for a transition soul. And I also thought about it, yes, like we're also having a lot of people depart. And my intuition and my channel has shared with me years ago that it's going to increase because the earth is rising in a certain vibration, and not a lot are going to survive it or choose as souls to stay here for it. They had a certain, if we look at it from a higher perspective, each individual, each soul has a mission and a purpose on this planet to show us different different lessons here, and that we can learn from each other. And so every depart is sacred. Every departure is sacred of each soul that chooses to leave when it leaves. That's one thing. And for the activation today, I wrote a beautiful prayer for the activation to bring this energy of purifying the souls and sending love and light for their transition, and also honoring the healing work. It's also a death, right? Like I feel like a lot of parts of me are dying as we're doing this healing work. Lots of old programs, lots of old ways of believing about ourselves, or energies that are in our body are actually dying and moving on. So also honoring that kind of death within ourselves, that we're evolving and ascending into a higher consciousness. So does that answer the question?
Yes, very good. Okay, so for the prayer, do I have that on the screen? Which slide is that? Do you want to read the prayer first? You have it with you. Okay.
It's just I'm going to say it before I do the activation.
Okay, and Laura says, hey, don't forget the crystals. Okay, how can people maybe help out and participate here?
Right, so I always recommend to guide, okay, that's right, put a crystal in front of you, a crystal behind you, one on each direction, so front, back, right, left. It is to symbol the 4 directions, the four elements. You can also bring a candle for fire, a flower for the earth or a plant. You can bring a little bowl of water. What am I missing? And incense or sage or Palo Santo, and you can burn it for the element of air to honor the 4 elements of the earth. A lot of people ask me, oh my God, or they tell me I didn't have it with me for the activation. It's like, it's okay. You don't have to have it. it's nice for the mood and for the energy of ceremony and these activations to really honor everything that is guiding us, right? So it's good to have it. It is going to work even if you don't have it. Like all these activations work. Also, if you were just sitting there with nothing, it's all going to work. But it's nice and recommended for the purpose of it, for the ceremony of it. So you can do that. Drink water. That is the most important thing, is to drink a glass of water before the activation. And yeah, just be present. Be present to receive.
Kristen Richards sending a lot of love to Julie. And who was the other one? Hold on a second. Someone just said, smiling eyes. Condolences, yes, to Julie and her family. Well, what I'd like to do also is ask the audience members to set their own personal intention for this activation we're about to do here for the Departed Soul. So we're going to be doing a generic activation and meditation with the group, but you can choose to bring your own energy and direct that to a loved one in your own life. So for my purposes, I want to dedicate this energy to the two amazing divine feminines in my life, Julie and her sister Sophie, who just lost their dad this weekend. Their dad is Alain. And so Alain was an instrumental force in creating those two very powerful divine feminines. And I want to send my healing energy to him, to thank him for his work here on the planet, and also to thank him for bringing both Julie and Sophie to our incredible community here. So that's my intention. Whew, I have trouble to say that without crying. You guys can set your own here as we go. And May, I want to bring up also the visualization for this activation. Can you explain to the audience here what we're looking at?
Yeah, so I actually channeled this last week without knowing that this is what we're going to do in this show today. It's called Sharaya Durga. It's for death and rebirth. And the activation is, this shall bring peace to the heart and soul during physical and emotional transitions. So it really speaks to what we just talked about our physical transition, souls that are transitioning now, and our emotions that are dying, like the things that we're letting go with these activations. So it really speaks of both worlds. And it's nice how you can see, like, one portal open to the next portal. You can actually see the transition in the movement. So I thought it was very appropriate to what we're doing today. So if you need some kind of visual stimulation while I'm doing this activation, this would be a great way to dive deep into the codes.
Perfect. And Ocean Odell says, yes, let's set our intentions and start manifesting here. Yes, if you want to share with the audience members and write down who you want to share this healing and activation energy for, you can do so in the live chat. You can do so privately as well. And we would ask that you, as best possible, eliminate some of the cross chat while May goes through this activation. May, can we do... let's say a 5-minute activation for this? Does that make sense for you? And then,
perfect.
Makes sense? Okay. And is there anything else you need from the audience before we go? May?
I don't need anything, but I do want to share something. This past week, I've had new sounds come out that are hilarious.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I pray that they won't come out in this activation, because I'll probably laugh in the middle because I can't handle it. It's too funny. So I'm just letting you know, if for some reason you hear me in new frequencies and I start laughing, it's because I'm not used to it yet. I'm like, Spirit, you got to be kidding me. You can't ask me to do this.
Well, I can't wait to hear it, because, you and I have been doing this for quite some time. And every time we do it, I'm an audiophile, right? So, and every time we do an activation, I pick up the fact that your vocabulary in the slight language grows every single time. So I'm excited to hear this. Okay. Well,
Picture me on my yoga mat and meditation this week, and I'm channeling these bizarre sounds and I'm laughing. I stop in the middle and can't stop laughing with myself for about an hour. I'm like, I can't do this, and it keeps wanting to come out. I hope it won't come out this time. But.
Wait, okay, Hillman says, laughter is great. And Gypsy Mama, let it flow, May. Let it flow.
It's really high pitched. Okay.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, May, you have the microphone, and I'll let you know about 1 minute before the 5 minute is over. Sounds good?
Okay. Okay, so yeah, sounds great. Start the 5 minutes after some breath work, okay?
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm feeling the need to hold some crystals in my hands. So you're welcome to do that as well, one on each hand, just to intensify the energy and to bring some more energy and more clarity, more purification to these souls that we are going to be bringing our attention to. So hopefully everyone had a glass of water and is sitting comfortably. If you're sitting, that's great. If you're lying down, that's great. I want you to bring your hands into your heart space, into the kingdom of your heart, and imagine a pearl white essence, light, cosmic light, expanding in your heart space, growing larger and larger, expanding to the rest of your body, to all of your cells and organs. Sending this crystalline white light down to the soles of your feet, shooting down to the earth, layer by layer, all the way to the core of the earth, grounding you in stability with the love of my Mama Gaia. The energy rises back up through the soles of the feet, through your legs, back through the heart and your chakra system, all the way up to the crown. Connecting between you and source energy, the creator of all that is. Creator of all that is, it is commanded to bless all souls that have left their physical form on the earth plane, that their soul may be purified with the love of the seventh plane and guided back to love, guided back to peace, back to complete wellness through all time space, continuum and multidimensional. May their souls shine upon us with love and guidance in the highest and best way. I bless the soul of Ale, Julie's father, bless her sister, with unconditional love from the seventh plane, for this transition to purify and heal quickly with so much love, ease, and grace. It is done. It is done. It is done. Rikiana Urashia Sahia Morakiara Saya. Rikiara Sahiara Shahiara Koya Kuraki Ar Asaya. Rishiara Sahiara Kahiara Koya Kiana Kahi Ar A. Rishiara Kahiara Koya Yahurakiana. Rikiana Horashiata Kaurashiana Natayara. Risiatra Tatakiara Shakiara. Ritiata Kayana Hurakiana Natahiara. Risiana Rishiata Kayana Murakiana. Rahyatakaya namura kianasa yahurashiatakaya namura. Riki shurasyata haima. Rika orhasiana. Hoa orashiata ratatakiana. Risiata ratatakiara shahia shahia. Morakiana sihaya horashiatakahiana. Rikiana rosahiara. Rikiara sahiara. Shiara saya. Ho urashia ha yara. Shi yara sayana murakiana or akiana sahiara. Rishiata ratatakiana. Roshakiara sahiuma. Rokura, rokura, rokura shiata ratatasiara sha urakiana. Hiayamo yaya. Rikiaya roka urakiana nasaya. Rishiaya, rokaura kianana taya ya ratatashiana so raki arasha I a roka kahia rashia takaya rikaha orashia taratatakiana risiana kaya rakorakiana urushukuya taratatakiana. Rakia rasaya urashiana uraki arasaya urakiana rikianana urakia rasayara roka urashiara rika urakiana siarakiana shikiarakaya roka urakiana siyarakaya morakiana rishiatrataka urakiana rishiatratakiara rishiatratakiara shaur asi an a rakia rasaya ho rikyaya yarakaya namura hu yara shu yara saya rikyata koya rikyata koya rai aya urakyana roa asurayana surayata kaya namura rishikaura shiana nasia raki arashaya rikaora kiana rishaora kiana rikaora kiana rishaora kiara saya rikiana. You can snap with me. Rikyata ratatashiara rikiana sha si yarakaya ura rishiataka hi yarashaya rishiatakaya namura roka kasiana shi yarakaya namura rishiaya so urakiana rishiana rikiana na shiara si ai a roka urakiana na shi iaya rikaora shiana na taiara rikaora shiatatakaiara rikiara sayana murakiana na taiara kaiaya roka urakiana na shai
1 minute remain.
Memory of Alay and all the souls that we have parted from, in remembrance of their soul and their light. And slowly bringing our awareness back to our heart, to our body, to our feet, connecting to the earth. You can put your feet on the earth. Put your hands on your heart. You can say a little prayer, a wish in your heart. And when you're done, you can say, it is done, it is done, it is done.
Wow, May, that was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And you're right. You've added quite a bit there of frequency range. Where do you think that's coming from, May?
Source energy, the highest, our highest truth.
I understand that part, but where is it coming from in the sense that are you now being able to reach those frequencies also because of the clearing work and the healing work that you're doing? Like, what's changing in your ability now to reach these higher frequencies, I guess is my question.
It's always evolving and changing. Clearing, doing this work on this path. I've been doing this work for a long time. And yeah, the more space you make, the more light can come shine through your chakras and your soul. We all have this ability. I'm not unique. I'm just maybe more far apart on the path, but we all have this connection to source. This is our birthright. And the intelligence and this knowledge is in it's in our DNA and in our consciousness. Like the more higher vibration you're going to reach, the more this can come through for all of us.
Yeah. Wow. Absolutely beautiful. Guys, let us know what you were feeling during this activation. Please share in the live chat. Or if you're watching this on repeat, please let us know in the comments section below. And if you love this, please remember to hit that like button. It really helps. And share this with other people here because, again, we're all going to be dealing with a lot more of these souls departing here. From what we gather, from what we're receiving here in terms of messages from source. So we need to be here to support each other for all of that. So big thank you all of you for participating in that. Now, May, you have this big one here coming up this Friday on August 5th. Let me bring that up. Yeah, Armoron says, wowzers. Yes, that was a big one. Thank you so much. Karine says, thank you, Karine. I really appreciate that. And Christine, amazing. Thank you, May. Thank you, Christine. Where did it go? Scrolling by so fast. There you go. This one, Christine. Merci beaucoup, Christine. So May, yeah, let's talk about this Friday one, how that one sets up here for the final 5th iteration of the health and vitality. And then we'll speak also about what's coming next after that. But talk about this one here for August 5th and how it ties in here to this whole health and vitality sequence here or series that we're running.
So on that scale that you put earlier, guilt and shame is the lowest on the scale. And it's going to be this is going to be some really, really serious work, you guys. And the reason I'm leaving it for now is because we were clearing some stuff so we can reach this and do this work. Guilt and shame is huge. There's sexual shame, there's abuse, shame, and guilt. All these, like, I think it's around sex, abuse, our body, being in a human body. Some people are ashamed even being human. Like some people that come from different star races, stuff like that. We are ashamed of even being inside of a physical body. Shame and guilt in relationships. I know in the Jewish tradition, there's a big guilt thing, going on. There's a real thing, Jewish guilt. And so even between our families and our relationships and loved ones, there's a lot of that vibration that is lingering in our energy body. And so we're going to be going into those really deep spaces to clear this from our organs, from our subconscious. And when we're clearing it, we're also going to be downloading really juicy, wonderful, potent downloads where our subconscious is like a hard drive. And so we're going to be pulling things out of the hard drive and we're going to be putting in things into the hard drive that are going to serve our highest potential, our highest and best selves. It's going to be lovely. So yeah, if you haven't done so already, you're welcome to go sign up in deepintuitivehealing.com and sign up for the activation August 5th at 5:55. That's this Friday. And I'm so looking forward to seeing you on the live chat. We've been building. A lot of people have been saying how happy they have a family to do this healing work together. And so we're creating this sonic grid when we're all together in the live chat, and it's wrapping Mother Earth with everybody's playing in another place in the world, and we're creating the sonic grid hugging the earth and actually helping the earth to ascend, because when we're healing our bodies, we're actually healing the earth, and we're doing this potent work together. So it's really
I
special.
love it. Oh, well, you're getting a lot of compliments in the chat here. People felt the chills, the goosebumps, the healing activation, the heat. A lot of people are crying also when you hit the singing bowls. Yeah, that was a big one for me. I kept imagining the person to whom I was sending this energy, and how he must be looking at this now from another set of perspective, also when you leave the body, and just realizing how this community is so beautiful, and how he's impacted, Alain, this community by bringing Julie and Sophie here to this beautiful community, and also here now with May Levy, all of you together in this community. It's just absolutely amazing that we can do this, and that we have the technology to bring all of this together. Angelica, thank you for all the hearts. I appreciate that. So yes, guys, go check it out, deepintuitivehealing.com. The links are in the description box below. May, before we do that too, we had quite a few testimonials from your last healing session. I realize this is a little bit small for you to read, but can you read a few out there here of your favorites, maybe for the audience members? And you guys can take a screenshot and read this too. But if you go to beyondmystic.net/show notes, you can see all of these testimonials here from the last one. And there's quite a many of those. Those were just the highlights. But May, run us through some of these as well. And also after that, explain how this activation session is going to work here on August 5th. What can the people who are doing this for the first time expect from that activation, how long it lasts, and what they'll see and feel during this activation?
During the activation itself, people experience sweatiness, headaches, feeling, I don't want to say headaches. Actually, a lot of people say they don't have headaches anymore after the activations, but they can feel tingles in their head, vibrations in their hands. They can feel itching. I had people tell me they were itching, having all kinds of feelings in their body, lots of crying, purging, or just people feeling all kinds of things in their body. The body is going to be reacting. Some people just felt amazing. It depends how far along you're on the journey and how much healing work you have to do, and what kind of really serious illnesses you have in the body to clear. Some people have some serious illnesses in their organs. So it really depends on how your physical body and your emotional body are approaching this activation, and how they're entering this activation. So that's one thing. And just like I said before, after the activation, I felt amazing. And then I got sick for a week with flu symptoms. I also felt a lot of emotions go through my body, and I was just patient with that. And having other people confirm that they also had those experiences. When people do like plant medicine, when they go do these shamanic journeys, they take ayahuasca or whatever plant they choose, and there's a lot of purging involved and a lot of clearing involved. It's very similar work. It's just done directly through source without any kind of substance. So, and that brings me to the first testimonial. This man said, my first activation with May Levy felt like I was working one-on-one with a shaman. Had a massage detox last night. Felt tired, but so peaceful and calm today. Thank you, May. A wonderful experience. Should I continue reading?
Sure. Well, sure. No, folks, you can go and print that. There's just a lot. But my point
there is one here that I really like. I'll just read that one. Here, May, this was a beautiful release and activation on all levels. I noticed that the ringing in my ears, which started 3 years ago, has dropped down significantly, and even sometimes to total silence. That alone is unconceivable. And then that's what I wanted to read. All the other stuff, it's about the spirit bath. Yeah. So just like people have been experiencing some really serious shifts. And I'm really grateful that I'm able to facilitate it and to have these abilities come through me and do this work with you.
Guys, if you go again, just go to that page there and read those testimonials. They're absolutely through the roof, and we keep getting emails because people watch this on replay afterwards as well, and it's just absolutely amazing. But May, talk about again for the people who might be doing this for the first time here on August 5th. How long are these activations, and what do they need? Like, is there any prep work they need to do to kind of get the maximum out of this session with you?
Yes, what I recommend is to print the artwork that comes with it. If you can't print it at home, go to your local printing shop and do it there, or go to a friend. Smile, even though it's woo-woo, just smile that you're walking out with this really weird thing, just own it and walk home with that and do it like in the next couple of days so you're prepared. Bring lots of water to drink with you. The crystals, 4 crystals to symbol each direction. Again, the 4 elements, bring a candle, something
Bring
for the
some
earth.
BeyondMystic silver if you have it, of course.
Silver,
The Psyche's metal.
Yeah, you can also bring silver and gold if you want to symbolize the polarities of our masculine and feminine, the sun and the moon. And you can bring a plant for the earth element, some sage or incense stick to symbolize air. And what am I missing? Candle, earth, and then water. You can bring a bowl of water or just drink the water and just have water with you.
And speak to...
Try not to drink caffeine that day. You want your body to be hydrated. So best not to drink caffeine. It's really important. And eat light. Eat light. Maybe have some like watermelon, something that's hydrating, some fruit.
Same thing is true if you're going for a plant medicine ceremony. They'll typically tell you don't drink the night before, don't eat a big ass steak. Like just maybe cleanse your body as best you can here leading up to it. Hoping here, of course, that the purging won't be as excruciating as it could sometimes be if you haven't taken care of your body. May talk about the sliding scale donation. First of all, before we get to that, can I show the artwork for this upcoming one, the one you sent me? Can people, is that the right one? So once they've logged in, this is the one that they need to print, right?
So I channel, these symbols are actually alive. They have potent energy. They are art activations that will continue to do the work with you after these activations. That's why I create them. This symbol is going to go underneath the bed for 90 days, and it will continue to work to release that the leftovers of the grief and shame energy out of the body. I would recommend to put a date on it, so you remember when you put it in there under the bed, and then remember to take it out after 90 days. Don't leave it after 90 days because it's alive and it's going to continue to work. It's good 90 days and that's it. Yeah, and when you sign up, you're going to have a link to download that right away.
Okay.
It's already going to be there.
And talk about this sliding scale donation. A lot of people were confused about that, but for the most part, everybody's absolutely ecstatic that you have this set up here on your website. Explain how that works.
Yeah, I'm so everybody's really down. Everybody's signed up. I'm getting so much love and gratitude from everybody about the sliding scale. So the starting point is $22, and you have the freedom and your generosity to pay up to $222. So you can pay anything in between, whatever feels good to you. Also, if you're struggling financially, I always tell people that you can come to me and we can work something out. I do have a link for people that are experiencing financial difficulties, but it's good to give some exchange, because in theta healing, or my teacher always used to say, like, the exchange is actually what makes it work. It's good to put something in order because you're receiving an energy. So yeah. And the sliding scale is just whatever feels good from your own abundance, from your own place of what you feel good to give.
Well, that's absolutely perfect. Folks, deepintuitivehealing.com. The link is on the screen now. Again, it's in the description box below, and it will be pinned to the top of the comments as soon as the live stream is over here today. Somebody was asking, hold on a second, what time on May 5th? How does this work? This is 5:55 Pacific.
5:55 Pacific Standard Time. Please pay attention to your time zone.
Okay, very good. And of course, just so you know, you can still also watch this on replay afterwards. It will still work. How do people typically do the replay, May?
They just get the link and they can always log in back to the link. The link is theirs.
Right. And so even for the people who watch it live, they can come back and watch it over and over again if they want. Do you recommend
many times they want? Yeah. Right. However, I do recommend that if you did the activation properly, wait a week. Let the
Let it
work.
sit.
Let
Right.
it sink and work. If you feel like you need to go back and do it, that's okay. Just give it some time
Right.
because it's deep work. But if you fell asleep and you weren't really conscious, because a lot of the work, I ask people to verbally give consent to all the downloads. And if you fell asleep, I do recommend to go back so you can verbally say yes to all of the downloads and try not to fall asleep. It's important
Right.
to be aware. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Lillian is asking a question. We addressed this at the beginning of the show. She might just have come in late here. But is it possible to do this activation on Friday, even though they haven't done part 1, 2, and 3 yet? May.
Yeah. Yes, Lillian, I said this earlier that you can. However, I do recommend that if you want deeper work, like the work to be done deeper, do at least part 1 because it works on the limiting beliefs in our subconscious that we're holding. Most people are holding in their subconscious mind. And what I did in Health and Vitality part 1 was release the limiting beliefs and download new beliefs. So any work that is being done on health and vitality will be efficient and would be
Right.
done on deeper level. So yes, you can. And I recommend to do one before.
Right. Very good. Well, before we go, also, guys, if you haven't seen this already, this was the last show with our dear friend on the screen who we're not allowed to mention. And this was her reading, pulling cards after May had spent here some time with us doing the last activation. If you haven't seen this video, please do go check it out. It's at timestamp 33 minutes into this video. You'll find it in our videos list. It's still there. There's 83,000 views on this already. This activation was absolutely powerful, but our friend's reading of this activation, and more specifically to the energy of who is the energy behind the person embodied in the May Levy skin suit here in front of us, was absolutely fascinating. So you guys want to go watch that if you haven't already seen it. May, anything else you wanted to share with the audience before we go tonight?
Yes, there is a little surprise. I'm doing I just sent you. I just sent you something.
I heard a ding. Okay.
I
Yes.
decided last minute today to do a Lionsgate portal activation, and it's a little tight with this activation that I'm doing for health and vitality, but I can't miss this opportunity with Lionsgate. So the Lionsgate is a portal for our abundance and our psychic abilities and a lot of creativity that is available for us on that day. It's August 8th. And I just put this together last minute. And so the donation is 11/11. And I will be doing that on my show. Maybe we can do it together, JC, if you want to. But it's going to be amazing and it's going to be powerful. And this is really to open ourselves for that juicy, yummy light codes that is available for us.
I love it.
To it.
Okay, let me bring that link down as well. And again, yes, I will go and add that right after the show in the description box below, as well to the pin top comment. So that's deepintuitivhealing.com/Lionsgate 2022. Awesome. May, I want to ask you for some words of wisdom. Again, on this whole idea of people having to deal with more and more of these souls departing now. You just did this activation 20 minutes ago. Is there anything else that came down from that that you feel would be important, that you feel you want to share with the audience members on how maybe to navigate all of this energy and how to be the best that they can be to support their friends and families also who are dealing with this? What would you say?
Love each other. Just love, like every day on earth is a gift and we don't know what tomorrow brings. I'm getting chills as I'm saying this. Like every single moment that we have with a loved one is a gift. And even parting ways with a loved one is a gift because we get to expand. Nobody stays on this earth forever. We're always meeting people and departing. And it's just part of life. And death is just a part of life, just as life is. And so really just embrace every moment that you have on this earth as if it's the biggest celebration of your life. And when you are departing from someone, it's okay to grieve. Feel your pain. Remember those memories. And, I lived in New Orleans for 4 years. And what I loved about that city is they march with joy when someone departs. With all of their instruments, and there's a second line, and it's a whole celebration, and they celebrate the person that lived, they celebrate the life. And it's a beautiful thing to learn from, like let's remember the good things and cheer that soul on. And also know that they're always there. We're just the physical body isn't. So
and one thing important one thing you kind of said too that struck me, I was having this conversation with a friend earlier, is that when a loved one departs, also that energy that you have involved with that person makes way for that energy to be used with another person coming into your life also. So as you're saying, like, yes, it's a departure, but it's also a reconnection perhaps with another soul contract that is waiting to have access to your energy field. So the situation is always bigger than it seems. But when we're dealing with departed loved ones, sometimes we're very myopic on the pain and the sadness of the loss, that we don't see always all of the angles, and that takes time, and that's absolutely normal. That's why there's a grieving process, and my heart goes out to everyone who's dealing with that. May, go ahead.
My next activation, part 5, is grief and apathy. So it's important to point out that if you are experiencing a loss and you're grieving and you're going through difficult times, that would be the activation that I would recommend from all my heart to be a part of, in order to assist in the process of grieving and, the apathy that comes with it.
And that one will be on August 27, folks, but we will be doing another pre-show to that August 27 here later on this month. So stay tuned for that on the channel. Speaking of the channel, if you haven't done so already, please remember to like, share, and subscribe here at Jean-Claude at BeyondMystic 3. And go check out May Levy at deepintuitivehealing.com. This was our intuitive healing session here with the beautiful, amazing, not pregnant, but glowing May Levy. I love you guys. Thank you so much, May, for being here. You're absolutely amazing. I always have shows with you guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here tonight. And we'll see you soon. Au revoir.